digital trade and technology is the silver bullet that's going to deliver for the African continent and African people.
That from a digital economy point of view, the African continent is ready for business.
Nigeria and AfTA join forces to boost continental trade and attract global investors.
Success depends not only on those in government, but on every Nigerian.
Budget 2025, Senate convenes interactive session for citizen participation.
We are going to go around again and then we'll monitor the field.
Also tonight, NTA investigates the silent yet alarming trend of shortchanging at petrol stations. Hello and a warm welcome to NTA Network News. I am Juma Yusuf. Reading with me tonight from Lagos is Adiola Kame Akere. Benny Adams is here and here's the latest from the business arena, while Bade Adele will be bringing us up to speed with happenings in the world of sports. Remember, you can watch this news broadcast live on our social media platforms displayed on your screen. Tonight, we continue to reflect on the sacrifices and bravery of our armed forces as enunciated during the 2025 Armed Forces Celebration and Remembrance Day. We will also acknowledge the ongoing challenges they face in securing our nation. As Nigeria continues to grapple with insurgency, the military has been at the forefront of the fight against terror groups like Boko Haram and Lakurawa bandits. But how effective have their efforts been? We want to hear from you. We would like for you to take our quick survey using the power code on your screen to share your thoughts on the military performance in combating insurgency in the year just past, that is 2024. We will display the results before the end of this newscast. So don't miss out on this opportunity to make your voice heard. Scan the barcode now and let us know. Are the military's efforts making a difference? Go to your Google browser, click on the photo icon at the search bar, then scan the barcode to take the survey. Like I said earlier, we will display the results of this survey before the end of this newscast. Now we hear that the President of the United Arab Emirates, Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, has accepted President Bola Tinubu's invitation to visit Nigeria this year. In a statement by his Special Advisor on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, the Nigerian leader extended the invitation to the UAE leader on Wednesday during their bilateral talks at the Abu Dhabi Sustainability Week 2025, where the president delivered Nigeria's position on climate change and other challenges. During the discussions, Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan thanked the Nigerian leader for accepting his invitation and expressed the UAE's determination to strengthen economic cooperation between Nigeria and his country, signaling renewed confidence in doing business with Africa's most populous nation. Meanwhile, with Nigeria being one of the countries most vulnerable to climate change, President Tinubu's attendance at the Abu Dhabi Sustainability Summit highlights the nation's determination to explore innovative solutions, foster international cooperation, and develop effective climate change policies that not only support sustainable development, but also mitigate the impacts of climate change in the country. But what and how exactly does Nigeria's national climate change policy correlate with its national energy transition plan? Well, let's bring in Charles Alpha for a quick brief on the issues. Charles, how exactly are these key development plans linked?
All right, thank you, Jumai, for having me on the Network News tonight. Now, the Nigerian policy, climate policy, and the nationally determined contribution provide a robust roadmap and action plan which seeks to reduce greenhouse gases and also seeks to enhance environmental and climate resilient Nigeria. And so in 2012, the Nigeria's climate change policy was adopted to reduce greenhouse gas emission, focus on mitigation, adaptation, and governance. If you know climate change, the impact of climate change is growing day by day. You talk about the flooding, we talk about land degradation, droughts, and all of this. It is affecting the lives of people every now and then. And so what the policy provides is such that government, supported by the private organization, can collaborate to build the capacity of those who are affected, that is the victim, to be able to adapt to this impact of climate change. And we say, how does it relate to the Nigeria's energy transition plan? It aims to reduce the share of renewable energy in the energy mix, target 30% of electricity generation from renewable sources by 2030, and also focus on solar, wind, and hydroelectric power. And now this is what Nigeria is enriched with. And it is no surprise that the climate change policy is leveraging on all of these natural resources that Nigeria, have in the country. And so we begin to look at how is this linked with the Climate Action and Energy Transition Plan? The climate change policy provides the framework for reducing greenhouse gas emission. Now, the greenhouse gases that we have, you talk about carbon dioxide, you talk about nitrous oxide, you talk about burning fossil fuel, and not to forget the impact of methane, which is regarded as one of the most dangerous greenhouse gases that we have. So what this policy seeks to mitigate, to tackle is these greenhouse gases, which is increasing global warming, and of course the drive is to keep temperature well below 1.5 degrees Celsius. Now, how does it benefit Nigeria? It reduces greenhouse gas emission, like we said, methane and all of that, enhances energy security and reduces dependence on fossil fuel. The present administration is doing so much to transit from fossil fuel to renewable energy, and the CNG initiative of Mr. President is saying so much about what this policy is talking about. And then last year in December, we also saw the House of Representatives, making a motion, passing a motion, or considering a motion rather, considering a bill that will allow polluters pay more, that is to say, discouraging gas flaring. So, like you said, it enhances energy security and reduces dependence on fossil fuel, promotes sustainability development, job creation, and poverty reduction. When all of these is properly implemented, this are what you get. Now, how does this strengthen climate change policy and energy transmission? Nigeria's Nigeria's transition plan is a comprehensive strategy designed to reduce. It creates for that transition to net zero. And if you look at what this is all about, it's such that it strengthens climate change policy, and the Climate Change Act of 2021 provides that the National Climate Council and Climate Change Secretariat is embodied with the power to mainstream this climate policy, this climate change programs, action program into the economy and the major MDAs to be able to get all this. Now, the implementation funding will be key in ensuring that this climate change policy is effectively, implemented and carried out in such a way that it mitigates the impact of climate change in Nigeria. Jumai.
Charles, indeed, you've given an in-depth analysis of climate change in Nigeria and how the summit is going, and we're glad that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is taking this seriously. Thank you so much, Charles.
Thank you, Jumai.
And ahead of the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, Nigeria and the Secretariat of the African Continental Market have concluded plans to attract global investment into the continent's digital economy. This is as the AFTA Secretariat meets Nigeria's government and the private sector towards boosting trade on the continent. Benny Adams tells us more.
Africa's continental market provides access to more than 1.3 billion people and has the combined GDP of $3.4 trillion. in addition to having the capacity to generate up to $30 billion annually in non-oil revenue in key sectors of agriculture, manufacturing, and fintech. For Nigeria, investing in a thriving fintech ecosystem that is beneficial to Africa's growing economy is the way to go.
Digital trade and technology is the silver bullet that's going to deliver for the African continent and African people the amount that is earmarked of where our economies would be in about a decade with enablement of technology is simply mind-boggling. We have to harness it.
We understand that this is achievable because where we are today, we're still scratching the surface. For the sector that I represent, for instance, we had the full liberalization of the telecommunications sector in 1999. And if you follow the history of that sector has been growing almost 30% year on year.
It's going to be of huge benefit to our country, both in terms of our huge population and in terms of the young and the youthful nature of that population.
This year, our objective is simple, and that is to underscore to the global community that from a digital economy point of view, the African continent is ready for business.
For the private sector players, their concern is the need to fast-track processes and provide needed incentives towards harnessing the potential of the huge market. At the end, all parties committed to active engagement towards increasing participation of businesses in the guided trade initiative, reduced cost of capital, in addition to enlightenment on import regulations, origin requirements, and identifying potential trade partners in other GTI countries. In Abuja, Benny Adams, NTA News.
In the meantime, the U.S. Deputy Secretary of State, Kurt Campbell, has commended the Nigerian government through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for its close collaboration in successfully repatriating funds linked to a forfeited luxury real estate and the Galactica Star super yacht. In a valedictory telephone conversation with the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Yusuf Tugar, the Deputy Secretary of State thanked him and his team, stressing that the repatriation negotiations has made him a believer in Nigeria. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has congratulated the Director General of the World Trade Organization, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, and Fola Adiola, co-founder of Guarantee Trust Bank PLC and managing director of Sahara Power Group, on the conferment of honorary doctorate degrees on the two prominent Nigerians by the University of Lagos. The university recognized Dr. Okonjo-Iweala for her trailblazing feat as the first African woman to lead the World Trade Organization and for introducing significant reforms in Nigeria's financial sector. The university also honored Fola Adiola for his pioneering role in the Nigerian banking sector and for the funding the Faith Foundation, an NGO mentoring young Nigerian entrepreneurs through training and loans. Another prominent Nigerian, Kola Adesina, an alumnus of the university, was recognized for his innovative contributions to the energy industry. President Tinubu states that the three Nigerian icons deserve recognition for their pursuit of excellence, hard work, and invaluable contributions to the nation's economic development. President Tinubu has also congratulated some Nigerian scientists and engineers for making President Biden's honor list. The 6 distinguished diaspora Nigerians named by President Joe Biden are among the 400 recipients of the Presidential Early Career Award for Scientists and Engineers in the United States include Aziz Butali, Gilbert Lilly Endowed, Professor of Diagnostic Sciences, College of Dentistry, University of Iowa, Ijoma Okpara, Associate Professor of Public Health, Yale University, and Oluwatomi Akindele, postdoctoral researcher at Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory. Others are Eno Ebong, Associate Professor of Chemical Engineering, Bioengineering, and Biology at Northeastern University. Oluwasami Kayejo, Assistant Professor of Computer Science at Stanford University, and Abidemi Ajiboye, Executive Vice Chair of the K School of Engineering Department of Biomedical Engineering Case, Western Reserve University. Moving on, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has paid tribute to Chief Bisi Akande, an elder statesman, seasoned administrator, and the first national chairman of the governing All Progressives Congress, as he marks his 86th birthday. The president, in a statement, described Chief Akande as a truly progressive and committed nationalist who has made tremendous contributions to Nigeria's democracy, nation building, and development. He said selfless service has been Baba Akande's watchword since he joined politics. Chief Bisi Akande was secretary to the government of Old Oyo State and later deputy governor. He then served as governor of Osun State from 1999 to 2003, interim national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, and now chairman of the governing board of Nigeria's Premier University of Ibadan. Now, the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, says rebuilding Nigeria requires unity, focus, and sacrifice from all stakeholders, and urged leaders to refrain from rhetorics that undermine public trust and champion the collective goal of a prosperous Nigeria. The minister, in his statement, urged the Emir of Kano, Mohammed Sanusi II, to rise above personal interest and partisan undertones and prioritize the greater good of Nigerians. He said the federal government notes recent remarks by Emir Muhammadu Sanusi II regarding the recent economic reforms of government. The minister said while Emir Sanusi, and indeed any Nigerian, has the inalienable right to express an opinion on how the government is being run, it must be in the public interest. He said bold and decisive actions are necessary to tackle entrenched economic challenges, and the administration has implemented transformative reforms, which has reduced the nation's debt service to revenue ratio, creating a more sustainable fiscal framework for future generations. Time now for our first break. Remember to join us in our survey using the barcode on your screen to share your thoughts on the military performance in combating insurgency in Nigeria in 2024. More news when we return. You're watching NTA Network News, and let's bring you up to speed with other news as Nigeria's 2025 budget of 49.7 trillion naira has been described as ambitious, necessitating the Senate convening an interactive session. Now, this allows all segments actively participate to make it fit for purpose through implementation, to meet the needs, hopes, and aspirations of citizens. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali has the details.
A lot of people after this will not come here, but they will go to television, sit down, analyze, criticize, and say things that they themselves will not be able to do.
The President of the Senate, in his opening address, appealed to Nigerians to take the fiscal plan as a collaborative mission.
The African prophet rightly reminds us, the man who uses the spoon with his neighbor does not eat alone. This budget is our collective responsibility, and we must take it soon. Its success depends not only on those in government, but on every Nigerian, on our shared determination to demand transparency, embrace accountability, and ensure faithful implementation of the budget whenever it's eventually passed.
Contributions will be properly received by the Operation Committee, analyzed by its areas of experts for further factoring into their reports.
The guest lecturer, who is also a professor of economics, says by adopting and implementing the right reforms, Nigeria can move from the threshold of greatness to the center of gravity.
Ensure that they also focus their investment in sectors like education and health and infrastructure. Capital allocation must be, every project must define how much job are they going to create. For every $10 billion naira you have, you can generate one job, direct or indirect. And we see that if you use that and apply that to the economy, the 2025 budget is capable of generating about 1.3 million jobs.
Chairman of the Senate Committee on Appropriations describes the retreat as a crucial phase in the legislative process required for the passage of the budget.
The essence of this deliberation today goes far beyond surface-level discussion of figures and allocation. It is fundamentally about ensuring that every naira allocated is strategically invested in projects and programs that are tangible and improve lives of Nigerians.
Our president, a very, very bold person that he is, convinced the nation that we need to take necessary, difficult choices that will steer our economy in the right direction. And with your support, those choices have been taken. Many, many innovative schemes, again with your support, have been introduced that we are confident that the economy is facing the right direction.
The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, was among those that participated in the retreat. The event honored the late Adeomi Oriomi Ononuga, the Deputy Chief Whip of the House of Representatives, who died Wednesday from the National Assembly. Lami Ali, NTA News.
Now, all arrangements for re-awarding contract for the rehabilitation of the Abuja-Kaduna Highway Section 1 has been concluded. When approved by the Federal Executive Council, the reconstruction will leverage its funds from the Renewed Hope Infrastructure Fund. Minister of Works David Umahi promised to deliver the roadwork within 14 months. Saliu Abdullahi Gwanara reports.
Section 1 of the Kaduna-Abuja Highway has been the most difficult for commuters along the 360-kilometer stretch of the Abuja-Kaduna-Kano Highway. Though a recent repairs by the Renewed Hope movement has reduced significantly the stressful journey of the section under review. With a successful bidding, the Bureau of Public Procurement approved the sum of 252 billion, 89 million naira for a new contractor to take over.
So we strongly believe that the detailed explanation presented here today will bring to an end the politics of this project. We want the public to hold us responsible for the goals we have set for ourselves in completing this important project.
Whatever legislative input, especially this time of the budgetary period that we are here, we as Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, in conjunction with our brothers from the House of Representatives, we make all the necessary provision to support the minister.
No reason why we shouldn't get this road done. We promise Nigerians renewed hope. And one of the ways they can see this hope is by coming out of their houses, coming out or getting on the road and seeing quality projects, seeing quality roads.
The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, described this new development as a demonstration of President Tinubu's desire for infrastructure rebirth in Nigeria.
And with the assurance that the Honorable Minister has given us, with the marching orders of Mr. President, we will have a brand new road linking Abuja Federal Capital to Kano. And mind you, there are two things he also mentioned here. One is the increase of the length of the road on the end of the Kano axis, and then the one going to Kogi axis. These were never part of the original design. But Mr. President said, you just cannot have good roads and then it terminates into a bad road. All of them, especially the leg that is entering into Aminu Kano International Airport.
The new contractor is expected to clear the existing worn-out infrastructure and deliver a new one with street lights from Abuja-Kaduna Highway. Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara, NTA News.
Shortchanging people in services or purchases has significant repercussions for customers and business owners. In an era where consumer feedback spreads rapidly through social media, ensuring fair transactions is crucial. Lydia Sampson reports on some petrol stations allegedly shortchanging motorists. Let's hear our report.
Most motorists and individuals receiving less than expected, whether in product, quality or service delivery, leads to financial loss, reduced trust and frustration.
I show you say you put 35,000 naira for me, my gauge no move. How did you do it? How did you do it? Answer me. You dey pump air inside my motor?
Having a good reputation in business attracts patronage and trust. The fact is, people and customers that have confidence in any business and its owner kind of become its unpaid salespeople. This resonates even in petrol stations. That is why you hear phrases like, their pump is not good, they have adjusted their pump. Simply put, stations described as such are believed to be shortchanging their customers.
I was buying fuel in a particular filling station, which I will not mention their name. They took light in the process. It was supposed to give me 25,000 naira fuel, and before I know what is happening, they took light while it was just on like 18,000.
When I buy now fuel and I put for tank, I no go make the money. I go borrow money for meeting, put to buy fuel, put for motor.
With the hike in pump price, motorists want to get value for their hard-earned money. Unfortunately, some petrol stations are allegedly tampering with their pumps. This erosion of trust often results in negative reviews and a reluctance to engage with such a business in future.
Nothing than because of the cheap in price, a little bit cheaper than other filling stations. So I prefer buying my fuel in NNPC because of the fuel price, and their liter is very good.
I know if you like those ones.
Inundated with reports of underdispensing and other sharp practices, the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority held a meeting with zonal managers and representatives of petrol stations. The meeting naturally focused on the need to fish out bad eggs.
We are very wide awake, and this is something that we cannot tolerate from any of the operators in the field. So we have given them an ultimatum that after a period from today that we are going to go around again, and then we'll monitor the field for infractions committed.
The NMDPRA is categorical that petrol stations found culpable will face sanctions. They urge motorists to be alert when being served. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
Nigeria Governors Forum has reiterated its strong support for the comprehensive reform of Nigeria's archaic tax laws and acknowledged the importance of modernizing the tax system to enhance fiscal stability and align with global best practices. In a communique signed by its chairman and governor of Kwara State, Abdulrahman Abdulrazak, the forum endorsed a revised value-added tax sharing formula to ensure equitable distribution of resources. 50% based on equality, 30% based on derivation, and 20% based on population. Members agreed that there should be no increase in the VAT rate or reduction in corporate income tax at this time to maintain economic stability. The forum advocated for the continued exemption of essential goods and agricultural produce from VAT to safeguard the welfare of citizens and promote agricultural productivity. The meeting recommended that there should be no terminal clause for TED Fund, Naseni and NIDDA in the sharing of development levies in the bills. The forum supports the continuation of the legislative process at the National Assembly that will culminate in the eventual passage of the tax reform bills. Let's join Adiola in our Lagos Network Center for more on NTA Network News. Hello, Adiola. Network Center for more.
Motorists plying the third mainland bridge have been assured that the 11.8 kilometers bridge is safe and its integrity remains intact. The Federal Controller of Works in charge of Lagos, Engineer Olukorede Kisha, described social media rumors doubting the integrity of the bridge as mischievous and a show of ignorance. Joe Pokwole reports.
Comprehensive rehabilitation of the third mainland bridge provided ample opportunity for the federal government to work on the integrity of the 11.8 kilometers bridge, and even after it was reopened to traffic, rehabilitation has continued under the bridge. The Federal Controller of Works, Engineer Olukorede Kisha, described misinformation on the social media as false, assuring Nigerians that the integrity of the bridge is intact, with all its expansion joints and other facilities still in good condition.
The entire length of the bridge is 11 kilometers. We drove around it, we came back, we saw that there was nothing amiss. So we're using this opportunity to tell the motoring public, Lagosians and Nigerians, that the bridge is safe, the integrity is not in doubt.
She also gave an update on the level of work being carried out under the bridge.
A lot more are going under the bridge. We're working on the bridge as we speak now. You observe that there is a deflection in some parts of the bridge. That's Adekunle to Adeniji. You see that you try to go down, combo, is some of the slabs that are deflecting. There's a contract for that now to stop further deflection of those slabs. Sometimes when you walk on this bridge, you see the rebound and the vibration as if it's the design, because it's designed to be like that. All aspects of the bridge is receiving adequate and due attention.
The 33-years-old bridge is one of the busiest routes in the country and will continue to receive the attention of the government for periodic maintenance. In Lagos, Joel Ukbola, NTA News.
The Federal High Court's Lagos Division has adjourned the matter between the Nigeria Deposit Insurance Corporation (NDIC) and the former managing director of the defunct Gulf Bank and other executive to February 21, 2025 for continuation of trial. The presiding judge, Justice Dan Osiago, gave the order at the resumed hearing of the matter bordering on alleged financial crimes against the defendants. Again, Joel Bukwola reports.
The 6 defendants who are major key players in the defunct Gulf Bank are facing trial for an alleged money laundering, misappropriation of funds, granting unsecured loans and other financial misconducts. The defendants, including a former managing director of the defunct bank, Babajide Rogers, and shareholder Prince Adekunle Adeyeba, ex-company secretary Uche Uwechia, Garrett Maviface, and 2 other companies are facing 28 counts prepared against them by the Nigeria Deposit Insurance Corporation through its counsel, Rotimi Jacobs SAN. As a prosecution counsel, they allegedly engaged in financial misappropriation amounting to 6.27 billion naira and over $64 million during their tenure at the defunct Gulf Bank. The matter was filed under fiat granted by the Attorney General of the Federation in 2023. At the hearing in Lagos, the prosecution counsel presented its first witness, Joseph Okechukwu Okolonji, a retired deputy director and former head of criminal investigation unit at the NDIC, who provided detailed testimony regarding the alleged financial malpractices that triggered the bank's collapse and subsequent withdrawal of its operating license. The Central Bank of Nigeria revoked Gulf's bank operating license on January 16, 2006, citing its inability to meet recapitalization requirements. This development allegedly pushed the bank into insolvency, culminating into NDIC's intervention. During the arraignment, the defendants pleaded not guilty to the counts. In Lagos, Joel Bukbola, NTA News.
And that's it from Lagos, but remember that the survey is still on and the results will be brought to you in the course of the bulletin. To stay with us and the NTA for more news.
Thanks for rejoining us. Now, Benny Adams is standing by for the latest in the world of business. Hello, Benny.
Thank you, Jumai. And talking business, in a bid to boost trade and investment through technology advancement, the federal government, through the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment, alongside the Ministry of Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy, are collaborating to strengthen the economy through the implementation of strategic policies contained in the National E-Commerce Policy and Strategy of 2023 to 2027, the National Talent Export Program, in addition to leadership in the AFCFTA, technology export and digital trade, driving services export growth as well as diversification of the entire economy. Both ministers agreed that the time for more work is now. Meanwhile, the Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment is also collaborating with the Ministry of Health and Social Welfare in tackling irregularities in the food export systems. The two ministries identified key areas of collaboration to include the regulation of food exports, the role of NAFDAC in enabling trade across borders, as well as unlocking of healthcare value chain, all aimed at economic growth. And now a quick look at the markets today. From Europe to Asia, America and Africa, the market is mostly positive, with the Nigerian exchange also closing positive after 4 consecutive sessions of losses. This turnaround has brought fortunes to investors worth 53.12 billion naira, with market capitalization closing at 62.31 trillion naira. Guarantee Core was the most traded stock by volume and value, with 65.05 million units traded worth 3.77 billion naira. And looking at the markets, the top 3 markets in Africa at this time, Nigeria, South Africa and Tunisia. You can see Nigeria and South Africa are all on green of 0.09% increase for Nigerian stocks. For South African stocks is 0.24%. Only for Tunisia. Tunisia went down today by 0.34%. This is it on business at this time. Jumai, you can take it from here.
Thank you, Benny.
I can see you in the stock market.
Yeah, I can see Nigeria's market is doing well.
Okay, great.
So we'll take a third break. When we return, there's more on NTA Network. Professor Eric Opia, a former sole administrator of the then Oil Mineral Producing Areas Development Commission, UMPADEC, has died, age 83 years. Professor Opia was an academic writer, publisher, entrepreneur and politician after his teaching stint in the United States. He returned to Nigeria and served as a member of the Technical Committee for the Privatization and Commercialization of the Ore Ireli oil palm plantations in Ondo State and the Okumo Oil Palm Company in Cross River State. In 1991, Professor Opia was the Delta State governorship candidate of the National Republican Convention in Nigeria's Third Republic. He was the elected member representing Ndokwa ethnic nationality at the 1994-95 Constitutional Conference. His last national assignment was the sole administrator of UMPADEC from 1996 to 1998. And in wrapping up tonight, Speaker of the House of Representatives Tajuddin Abbas has expressed grief over the death of Deputy Chief Whip of the House, Adewumi Oriyomi Onanuga, saying she was a strong pillar who would be sorely missed in Parliament. Speaker Abbas recalled how he led members of the House in support and prayers for the deceased during her health challenge, while describing her eventual death as painful. He said, as the only female member in the leadership of the House, late Onanuga inspired and rallied female legislators for the greater good of Parliament and the country by extension. In a separate condolence message, Deputy Speaker Benjamin Kalu noted late Onanuga's commitment to the cause of women's empowerment and political inclusion, as well as her support for the Peace in Southeast project. He prayed for the repose of the soul of the deceased. In her heartfelt condolence message to the deceased family, Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu says she receives with shock the news of the sudden demise of the Deputy Chief Whip of the House of Representatives. The First Lady describes her death as a great loss to her family, the legislature, Ondo State, Nigeria, and the women folk in general. She condoles the leadership and members of the House of Representatives, Ogun State Governor Dapo Abiodun and her constituents in Ikene, Shagamu, Remo North constituency. And in wrapping up tonight, we're inspired to bring you a piece that addresses the fact that equality, equity, and balance are not just ideals, but the rhythm that governs our lives. Drawing from Chinua Achebe's iconic masterpiece, Things Fall Apart. Let's show you how